Okay, it is 7:06 PM, and I'm going to call the meeting to order of the Environmental Concerns Commission. And Commissioner Draconis, could you just read off the roll?
Joel Moore,
Here.
Sandra Hill,
Here.
Marion Greco,
Here.
Linda Wagner,
Here.
Lynn Smith,
Here.
sorry, I'm writing things. Eleanor,
Leishman, present.
okay.
Okay, thank you. And we've established that we have a quorum. There are no members of the public present at this time, and we received an email that unfortunately we will not have a staff liaison present this evening. So, I'm going to move on to item 3, amendments to the agenda. Commissioner Amore.
Chairman Wagner, I would like to propose to make an amendment to the agenda to add an agenda item to discuss opportunities to tour facilities that directly are related to the Environmental Concerns Commission.
Okay. So that would be item H. And actually, thank you for doing that. I have 4 different, Commissioner Morey inquired about doing a tour with DART. And then, State Representative Diane Blair Sherlock has an opportunity for us to tour International Paper, because they have some issues that they have with recycling paper. I was also going to suggest possibly a tour at Salt Creek Sanitary District. And I talked with Kay McKean this afternoon, and she's offering a tour of Groot. Groot is another waste hauler on Monday. So I would put those 4 things under item H, if that's okay with the.
I count 5, but
So those would all be under tours.
that sounds good.
And the other
Do you need to
thing,
vote on that?
okay. So there's a motion on the floor by Commissioner Amore to add an item H to the agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Hill. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. Any opposed? Okay, and these are just omissions on my part, and I apologize. I'd entertain a motion to also add an item I and J. I would have to do with communication, community outreach, and J, lead service lines. Just my omissions.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Commissioner Hill made the motion to add an item I and J. I would be national night out, communication and community outreach, and J would be lead service lines. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Leachman. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay, I'm going to move on to item 4, the consent agenda, approval of the May 23rd, 2024 meeting minutes. Is Commissioner Leishman?
I move that we approve the minutes of the May 23rd, 2024 meeting.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Hill. Is there any discussion? Okay, and I did offer some very minor corrections to the, just corrections, additions to the agenda. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The May 23rd meeting minutes are approved. And I want to thank you Commissioner Draconis for your work on the minutes. Really appreciate it. And I also appreciate Commissioner Greco's work on doing minutes as well. It's probably my least favorite thing to do, and I like the fact that other people are willing to do it. So,
And I do mine for the subcommittee. This is Commissioner Greco.
okay, we're going to move on to item 5A, report of the Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee, and I'll recognize Commissioner Leishman.
Thank you. So we had a shorter agenda tonight. First, we discussed the strategic planning meeting that we're going to be undertaking this Saturday at 10 a.m. at the library. All members of the public, including this commission, are welcome to attend. We're going to be setting some goals for basically the next year for the BPT, trying to focus on, iterative improvements to our village that can get more people walking, biking, and taking public transit. So we spent kind of the majority of the meeting tonight talking about kind of the agenda for that meeting. Then we discussed some maps of town where bicycle racks are around town that we've been developing. Currently, we're trying to decide between kind of a crowdsourced Google Maps solution versus a more formal solution on ArcGIS that Kevin Mantles has been working on developing for the village. We also talked about the Tri-Trail Connector, which is kind of unofficially open now on the east side of Villa. So encourage you all to go check that out. It's kind of a shock going from the gravel of the prairie path to some nice new asphalt. It's amazing how much faster you can go.
Better
Some
for
speed.
e-bikes too.
I bet, yeah. And yeah, that's the majority of what we talked about tonight. And that's
Okay.
it.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to move on to item 5B, follow up on spring sweep. And I will just tell you that it's been very difficult getting responses from some organizations, so I don't have a complete report. I hope to have something in July. And I would ask Commissioner Draconis if you could send me an electronic version of the recommendations that you put together. That would be great. It was interesting, the board meeting after spring sweep, there was some discussion, well, we don't have a report yet, as if it happens by magic, so. But I hope to give a complete report in July. I'm gonna move on to item 5C, follow-up on No May. I haven't had a chance to speak with Director McLaughlin, but so I have no new information on that. I'm gonna move on to item 5D, update on Keep America Beautiful, and I'm gonna turn the floor over to Commissioner Smith to let us know what she's found.
Thank you. So I, after several attempts, I did receive a return email, and I was able to schedule a meeting with Mallory Coffey with Keep America Beautiful this morning. Just trying to see if I see Mallory. So Mallory is the director of affiliate development. So she did walk me through the process. And on our call, I don't have Pam's last name, but Pam Osborne. Pam Osborne is one of the starters of the Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful chapters, which is headquartered in Rockford. So she was just kind of on the call because I think initially they thought that I was in the Rockford area. But, so the process to get started is, we have to fill out an application. And there is a price associated with it that is based on population. So the population for our village,
22
is like 22. So based on that range, and I'll send the application to, like Don, was on there. Bob, I think you were on there as well, on the email, the application, or no?
I did not get
Yeah,
it.
so I'll forward that to the commissioners after, following, our discussion. Because we'll need to decide if we want to move forward, or is that something we want to do tonight? I can't let you know what the price is.
I think we'd want to see the
Just to review it,
application, yeah.
have time to review it. So, essentially, the top of my head, I'm thinking it's like 30, maybe 3,800 or something like that would be the fee. We have up to a year long to complete the application process once it's started. A community team has to be put together. Community team. Yeah, community team. These are just some of the steps. So the application actually details the step-by-step requirements. I have not had a chance to read it in detail because of the time that it was sent. So I just got it today. The invoice is a one-time fee. Community training would have to be done. Sue Smith would complete the community training. And that is 2 training sessions. They're each 3 to 4 hours. And also we have to do a affiliate research report. And part of the community training also involves board member training for strategic planning. So she says we have up to 1 year to complete, but there have been applicants who've completed everything within 2 months. I think as long as it has a champion, that will help make sure that it gets done. And also I'm willing to, help with that effort since I'm already connected with them.
This is Commissioner Wagner. So I guess my questions are, what do we get for $3,800? What do we, what do we get for, and what do they have to train us to do? I mean, I envision Keep America Beautiful as picking up trash.
So I do, Commissioner Smith, so I do have, Mallory offered to avail herself to us this evening. If we
Okay.
have phone calls, she said that I could call her. If you guys did want to ask her questions at this time, or we could, during our next meeting, after we've had time to review the application and to gather all of our questions, we could let her know when our next meeting is, and then she could be available. I can put her on speakerphone and we could ask all our questions in before making a final decision.
This is Commissioner Wagner. I think the consensus is we'd like to see the application
Yep.
and get more before we, talk with her. The other question I had is, there used to be an organization called DuPage Clean and Beautiful. I don't know whatever happened to DuPage Clean and Beautiful. I can't even find it on the website, but I know you do a search for DuPage Clean and Beautiful, you can't find it. But I know it existed. I wonder if that was an affiliate of Keep America Beautiful that somehow went away.
So that could be one of our questions.
Yeah.
That we ask. So the feedback that I got, it seems like with the active chapters that were mentioned during the call are the Keep America Beautiful Chicago affiliate, the Keep America Beautiful Oak Park affiliate. Those are and then the Keep America Northern Illinois. Those were 3 that were mentioned on the call. And then she did ask kind of what are we, like, she asked us like why do we want to be a part of it? and what are we doing now, kind of in lines of that. And I did mention that we were part of a river cleanup. I just couldn't remember the organization that.
River Sweep is
River
part of the
Sweep.
Conservation
Yeah.
Foundation.
So she asked that question of us too, I guess, trying to see if it's a kind of if it is a good fit, depending on what's the impetus for wanting to be a part of Keep America Beautiful, and to see what built-in infrastructure and organizations we already have too within our communities to see. So I think after, like, I mean, I have the application open, but I'll send this to everyone, and it would be $3,850 because our population is between 15,000 and 50,000 people.
Well, I appreciate, this is Commissioner Wagner, I appreciate your research and the time you invested in doing this. And we'll look forward to getting the email from you. If you want to send it to me, and I can send it to the commission.
Sure.
Or, and then,
I'll do that. So it says the affiliate application at the top, really quick. The affiliate application is for communities without an existing infrastructure to focus efforts towards litter prevention and cleanup, beautifying communities through greening efforts and waste reduction efforts. This application will guide the community through the process of creating a formalized committee, organization, nonprofit, and/or department to address these issues specifically. So if we decide that we already have this infrastructure in place, then it might not be necessarily for us. But then I look at communities like Chicago and Oak Park, which definitely have those infrastrucures in place, but they also have a Keep America Beautiful affiliate. So part of what we do, maybe I can reach out to whoever is running those affiliates, and I did talk to Pam already, but maybe, Oak Park, because it's a little closer and a little bit more similar. Just to see kind of if they're seeing any benefit from being an affiliate.
yeah,
So.
that's the big question.
Yeah, for that
So,
that price, yeah.
And this is Commissioner Wagner again. Did you have any, and I apologize that there was some, you were working at cross purposes with Dan Vare, the guy that was, the gentleman who was here. I don't know if he said he was gonna talk to somebody, and I said,
Oh, okay, that was a citizen.
You're
Because
right.
I was wondering. Okay, so thanks for that reminder.
yeah, so, yeah,
So what happened when I did let Mallory know during the call that Dan also had sent the email and reached out. So when she responded, she copied Dan on that email.
okay.
So that now we're all having the same conversation at the
Understand.
same time.
Yeah, we don't need two people
Yeah.
doing the same thing, so. Well, I appreciate you doing that, and we'll look forward to that additional information.
Okay, so I'll forward this to you. And then
Perfect.
we'll go from there. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, something I neglected to do, I did receive an email from a village resident, Mark Paulson. And this is going to be covered later in our agenda, but he did send me an email, so I'd like to read it into for the recording, because I told him that we were recording the meeting and that he could listen to it. So I'm gonna read his,
Or could that not be
So that, I would
under
think,
your sustainable landscape?
yeah, I could do that then, yeah. It is public comment, but I'll read it during that section of the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5E, which is update on community research on climate and urban science. And I have nothing new to report here. I did send another email to Robin Grange at Argonne, and there's been no response. So I sent an email to Edith Macra with Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, and her response was that happens to me as well. So she said that she was going to go up the chain of command to find, because she said apparently Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus Environment Committee had this presentation on crocus, and really nothing has happened. So Edith, who I consider our friend, said she'd like to see a crocus site somewhere in DuPage. And as I mentioned, District 45 is definitely interested. So hopefully, with Edith's help, we'll be able to get some movement on this, because it sounded like it definitely could be an educational opportunity. They indicated that a middle school would be a great place for it, so I hope to have more information in July.
Can you spell her last name, Edith?
Makra, Makra. And Edith has been
I have it.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5F, update on summer festival participation. And I meant to send an email out, but I wanted to thank Commissioner Amore, because he came early and set up a tent, brought a table, some chairs, and I want to thank Commissioner Leishman for being there as well. It was a hot day, and I know that Commissioner Smith was not feeling well, so she couldn't
I want
attend.
to apologize.
Yeah.
And
I can't do heat at all.
I,
So.
no,
No.
unfortunate
Completely.
case of food poisoning.
Completely understand.
Might not have been, because other people have had stomach flus, so.
You think that's what it maybe is?
Well, I mean, yeah, someone I work with and her husband both had what they thought was food poisoning, but they didn't eat the
I
same
just
things.
know I
so.
didn't leave the house on Saturday.
So,
Anyway, I mean, you're better now,
so
so.
we were present. We were present at Summer Festival. Thanks to Commissioner Moray, thanks to Commissioner Leishman. We had the energy games. We couldn't set up the bag toss because it was just way too windy. There were tents blowing over there were gusts of wind, and different vendors had their stuff blown all over the place. So we had some good conversations with residents. And of course, the fact that we were there, the Environmental Concerns Commission was there. One of our other commissions, village commissions, was supposed to have a table there, but I couldn't find them. So I wonder if either of you had comments about Summer Festival?
It was hot.
I did like the setup with all the booths on Ardmore,
That was a good setup.
although we have to remember to get the west side of the street next time.
I thought it was a little weird how far away the beer tent was.
It was pretty far, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's kind of a big gap between that.
Yeah. Well, maybe they were anticipating more vendors.
I don't know what they were thinking.
And I would lobby for a better location for the library, because you were.
Oh, they were perfectly fine with the lot where
Were
we
they?
were at, because they could back the van in, and then if we had.
Okay.
So, no, they were very happy with
They
it.
just looked lonely out there.
They reached, their kids came down and.
I think that I'm gonna see if we can get a van with an awning put in our budget as well for the Environmental Concerns Commission.
A van with.
An electric thing, just to keep everything focused.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
Commissioner Smith had a question, just because I'm newer to the village as well. Is there a reason it's held in that location as opposed to like a park? 'Cause
Tradition.
oh, okay,
It's
Yeah,
just
just
tradition.
tradition.
It used to be like a 2 or 3 day event years ago, and it used to be actually spearheaded by a commission of volunteers for about 5 to 6 years, and that kind of, yeah, so.
One of the practical reasons is that the gazebo makes a nice stage.
Yeah,
That is one of the practical, because the first year it was at Cortese Park.
Right.
And then it moved there the second year, and they were able to use the gazebo for the bands and.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because the whole downtown Villa appears to be one of the corridors, but they're not forgetting the Ardmore corridor either, so there you go.
How was the flow to our booth?
It was busy, it was steady,
Steady?
yeah.
What were some of the questions you were getting?
Well, we were just kind of roping them, I was joking
Yeah,
with Al, and I roped them and he branded them, you know?
I know, and I like working crowds like that, so I was like, oh, excellent.
We were mostly sharing information about how to like save energy around the house, and then I was also passing out flyers for the planning meeting this Saturday.
Yeah.
We did get rid of all the rest of the insulator kits. But then I saw another box at the table behind us, and we never really got a chance to open that box up, so.
They reproduce.
They
They
feel
have
like
to.
rabbits.
Yeah, we'll get it out, don't worry.
Okay, if there's no further discussion on that item, I'm gonna move on to item 5G, discussion of change to commission structure. And there's actually two items, and I may have talked to some, I think I've talked to some commissioners. I was contacted by a young man, he's a junior at Willowbrook High School. And his name is Ivan Figueroa. He was going to come this evening, but he had some family issues. He was supposed to come to our table at Summer Festival, but I don't know, I didn't see him. But I did pass out copies of, there is a precedent for creating a junior commissioner. So the community focus on Unifying Neighbors Commission they have junior commissioners. And I think that was started by Diane Blair Sherlock. They're non-voting members, but in order for us to have a junior commissioner, we'd have to change our ordinance. And I like the idea. I think, students who are, I think he has legitimate interest in what our commission does, but the benefit to him is this is something that he could put on his college application, that he was a member of a commission.
With this fund commission, the two junior members, was that before they renamed themselves, or was this after? Because they were the Pride Commission, then the Fund Commission, so when was that change made? Was it
That's a good question.
prior to?
So when I looked at the codes,
Yeah.
this is what
what
I
it says?
found.
Okay,
So they recently redid their ordinance, there were some changes. I think this may be, I don't think it ever went away. I don't think they were ever not able to have
a junior member,
junior members.
okay.
So I think we'll just take these one at a time. So is there any discussion about this? So this would require us to go to the village manager to say we'd like to have a junior commissioners.
I guess no,
No, you go ahead.
So we've identified, this is Commissioner Smith, or should we wait till she comes back?
Yeah, we can wait for Ellen to come back.
Especially since she's taking minutes.
Yeah, right.
We're going to, this is Commissioner Wagner, we're gonna take about a 2-minute recess to allow Commissioner Jaconas to come back. Okay, this is Commissioner Wagner. We are back from our recess, and we're gonna continue our conversation, our discussion about the possibility of adding junior members to our commission. And I can't remember who was, Commissioner Smith.
So this is Commissioner Smith. So we have identified what some of the advantages might be for the young people, such as first college applications, and that would help to show that they're engaged in their community. But what benefits would it be to us? What I can just think of off the bat is because a lot of what we do, they're going, younger people, the next generations, right, are going to be directly impacted by that. And sometimes they do provide fresh perspectives and things that we might not think of. So I think from having their generation have a voice in decisions and discussions and things that are going to directly impact their future is good. And we're also helping with succession planning, because you're planting that seeds of civic mindedness. So maybe like later in life, they'll also come back and still participate. So that ends my comments.
So this is Commissioner Wagner. So one advantage I can see to having a junior commissioner is that for some events like Spring Sweep or Pumpkin Smash or other events like that, we're saying, we sometimes reach out to Commissioner Draconis and say, can you contact the Key Club? And I know that we've tried to reach out to Students for the Better Environment at Willowbrook, but never, ever gotten, responses. So maybe having a Willowbrook student might help us to get better outreach towards, younger people. Commissioner Leishman.
So I was speaking with the village manager about this topic before the meeting. He was saying that basically if we were going to make changes to code or ordinance or whatever it is to implement this, it could either be done for the ECC in particular, or they could also just change the code for all commissions, basically allowing all commissions to have junior members. He didn't seem to have leanings one way or the other. I just thought it was worth bringing up.
Right. So this is Commissioner Wagner. So this actually, Ivan Figueroa reached out to Public Works Director Mike Guerra, and then it came to Cheryl Wagner. Manager Harline was copied, and he had the same, kind of a similar comment to me as well. That, an ordinance, which I knew,
Right.
we just can't change, we just can't summarily say, oh, we're gonna have junior commissioners. But I did notice that they're commissioners, but they can't vote, so,
That's right.
yeah.
But they're participating, and that's important.
They participate, exactly.
Yeah. I would say yes, let's just ask if we can do it, and it's up to the village whether they wanna do all the commissions or just a few here and there. But I don't think it would hurt to have a couple junior members if they're interested. We wanna be inclusive.
Yeah. Commissioner Greco.
I love the idea, yes, I definitely am all for it. 2 points, shoot, I forgot the second one. The first one is, would the junior commissioners have to do the same, like Open Meetings Act training? And I know I had to prove I'd had sexual harassment training, so something to consider, and I don't think it's a deal breaker. I think most people would be willing to do that, but
Almost,
yeah.
it'd be a good thing for them to do anyway.
And then, the other thing is, can they, until we get it officially codified, can Ivan or another member just participate as a volunteer and member of the public? Like, he can come to the meetings whether he's a member or not, and he can do volunteer work for us. So, we can definitely get him involved pretty much at this level before it's official.
Commissioner Morey.
Commissioner Mori, I also agree, for all the reasons stated, that it would be a good thing to have junior members.
I can just say ditto.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Leishman.
Uh,
I did, go ahead.
Commissioner Draconis just said ditto. But I was going to move that we draft a request to the village manager asking that draft ordinance be developed to add junior commissioners to the ECC.
Okay, so Commissioner Leishman has made a motion to request that an ordinance be drafted, or a change to the ordinance be drafted so that we could, take on junior commissioners.
Specifically two.
Just yeah. It does say that they have two. Do we wanna stipulate two? Do we wanna,
I don't
okay,
think so.
okay. All right. Okay, is there a second to that motion?
Can you state the motion?
I move that we write a request to the village manager asking that a proposed change of ordinance to allow 2 junior commissioners on the ECC be presented to the Board of Trustees.
Okay,
Oh, I second that.
okay, second by Commissioner Smith. Is there any additional discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, so that motion passes. So I'm gonna reach out to the manager's office and I will make sure that I would say probably a section in our ordinance that mirrors the one in the community focus on unifying neighbors commission ordinance be added to and then the process is that it would be put on the agenda. The village board would discuss it, and then if it passes, then we would be able to take on junior commissioners. Okay, I'm gonna move on to
Who seconded
Commissioner Smith did.
Yes.
it? I'm sorry.
Okay, the other portion about changing the commission structure has to do with the addition of a subcommittee. And I'm gonna read this, I'll try and read this so that the recording picks it up. This is from a village resident, his name is Mark Paulson. Good morning, Bob. I'm reaching out to you today with some thoughts, concerns, and ideas on the landscaping acumen that the village currently employs. Before getting to the brass tacks, I understand that the biggest hurdle or hoop to jump through is obviously budgeting, but hopefully we can at least get the conversation started and begin to convince those involved in budgeting to consider the need for a more cohesive, robust, and ecologically conscious approach to landscaping in our village parks, underutilized green space, and commercial and municipal properties. I feel like a paradigm shift is on, and there is no better time than now to start living up to our moniker, the Garden Village. With the town growing and evolving, and with many exciting new developments happening, I believe that the beautification and landscape methods should evolve accordingly. There is an abundant amount of pre-existing opportunities in town that can be improved upon and provide great opportunity for a more sustainable implementation of native flora. Frankly, the same goes for the current, more conventional land management game plan in regards to regularly scheduled upkeep, in parentheses, weed control, turf management, etc. Also, as mentioned above, there is a great need for a prioritized and inspired approach to landscaping our new developments through the village. There seemingly is a general lack of knowledge and true understanding of landscaping and/or gardening with native plants. This is exemplified by the mismanagement of the pollinator pods along the prairie path in front of the Ovaltine factory. That said, in light of the above-mentioned points, I am calling for a subcommittee to the Environmental Concerns Commission, a group of impassioned and knowledgeable volunteers that can inform and educate the community as well as the current landscape staff. The primary objective of this group would be to implement and upkeep the many spaces throughout the village on a volunteer basis and under a regimented schedule. As an amateur botanist and member of the Illinois Native Plant Society, a prairie advocate and steward, and as a naturalist, horticultural student, and plain garden geek, I am more than happy to be a quarterback for this. I believe that if we get like-minded people together and keep the conversation going, we can get to where we should be as the Garden Village. Please feel free to share this with anyone and everyone who needs to see it with my accreditation. I appreciate your time and dedication as chair, and I look forward to working alongside you. Thank you, Mark Paulson, 534 East Park Boulevard. I'm sorry that it was so long, but I told him I'd read it into the recording because he couldn't be here this evening. So essentially what his request is that we create a subcommittee that would deal with native landscaping and the things that he's mentioned in his email. And my concern is if we have a subcommittee, we already have a subcommittee, we can create subcommittees. When would it meet? Who would chair it? It's an additional requirement for staff because we have to post the agenda, we have to staff it with people. In the past, when we created the Bike Pedestrian Transit Subcommittee, initially Commissioner Amore and Commissioner Greco and myself were the only members. It's my understanding that you don't have to be appointed as a commissioner by the village board. You can just be, you're part of the subcommittee. So I guess I'll open the floor for conversation. Commissioner Leishman.
Yeah, so I spoke with the village manager about this as well, because I was specifically curious as to whether members of subcommittees have to be members of the parent committee, the parent commission as well. So we looked at the ordinance as it stands right now. It does not specify who has to form the subcommittee. It gives the authority of the members of the chair of the commission is in charge of designating members to the subcommittee at the consensus of the ECC as a whole. However, even though it doesn't specify this requirement, the village manager's current understanding of the code is that subcommittees should be formed out of the commissions. And the reason for that is twofold. One, just like the common understanding of a subcommittee is that it is a smaller group of the original committee, just from a dictionary perspective.
Exactly.
And the second reason why he would be concerned about appointing non-commissioners to a subcommittee is it would give the commission the authority to appoint representatives without intervention from the Board of Trustees, which are elected officials. It would essentially be a second tier of...
You would be bypassing the trustees.
Yes, you'd be bypassing the trustees. So those were his concerns. If we want to try and change that, or if we want to get a second opinion, I think we could probably reach out to the village attorney. But
Or you can enlarge your commission to, instead of 7, you could go back to 9. There's that alternative
Yeah.
as well, if you
Yes.
have that much interest.
either way, I think there would have to be an ordinance change.
Right.
Well, I had two questions when it came up. What is our maximum? Like, what is our commission?
Our commission is 7.
But
This is
we had
Commissioner Wagner. The ordinance says 7.
Okay.
Did we not have to change that? It seemed like it used to be 9 and we couldn't get a quorum.
Right, we changed it from 9 to 7. We asked the board to change it.
Yeah. So,
So we're at max, okay.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so,
Commissioner Leachman.
So if the issue with 9 was achieving quorum, my understanding from FOIA training is that quorum can be specified by ordinance. It does not necessarily have to be the standard, which is 50% or whatever.
right, you can do,
So you could specify a lower quorum and still maintain 9 commissioners.
right,
This is Commissioner Wagner. So this issue of number of commissioners
I mean,
and what your quorum is.
right,
So this is what I was told by a past village attorney. If the number of commissioners is 7, for example, 4 is a quorum. You can't say, oh, we only have 5 commissioners now, we now have a quorum, and our quorum is now 3. I was told by a past village attorney that's not correct. Whether you can say, we have 7 commissioners, we're gonna make it 3, I am skeptical about that. I have a difference of opinion on that. I will just tell you that when we created the Bike Pedestrian and Transit Subcommittee, there was communication with the village president, Al Bolthus. I went to him, I went to the village manager, we're creating this subcommittee, we have these 2 qualified, I consider them qualified. We're gonna create the subcommittee, and there was, go ahead. I will tell you that this is many, many years ago. I was not able to be appointed for whatever reason by a village president who didn't want to appoint me to the commission. I was a volunteer, and we had a subcommittee, so. Whether it bypasses, the subcommittee does work outside of the actual commission. So I think that I will contact the village manager and ask him for an official ruling from the village attorney on this. Yeah. Well, I don't know, what else do we do? Well, I guess
I would say-
before we do that, maybe we
Yes.
should have a consensus whether there is
should we have a subcommittee?
have a subcommittee, exactly.
I will tell you that I'm extremely interested in native plants. I'm extremely interested in trees. Just attended a workshop last week at Midwest Ground Covers, and excellent workshops. And we need to plant more trees. If you want the best impact, it's the damn oak tree.
Well, I
Wild
do.
cherries, plums. If you really want an impact, it's your trees. But we
Do you have
need
the
to educate. It's an educational type of thing. I would say that, if I could have maybe Ellen and I, or somebody else who's interested in it, we could try to work with the village staff in getting education and publications out to the community. We're not gonna make a big inroads unless we do what Ellen has been saying, and it's the education factor. And maybe get the village to change some ordinances. Why couldn't we have native plants planted around ugly telephone poles in your parkway? That's against ordinance. Well, that's an ordinance I'd love to see changed. So, and it's one of those things that, and we've got all these publications that have yet to be broadcast or given to people about native trees in the area, native trees that you can plant. So, it's one of those things I get very frustrated. Last week was pollinator week. okay? And where are we at with the marketing, our marketing with the social media?
That'll be item 5I.
5I. So that's, again, we're either enlarge the commission and bring more members in who may be, but it's the education that, and you know, if we're not, if the village won't do it, the library will do it, so.
Commissioner Smith, just a question. So does the village have a landscape architect on staff?
No.
No,
Okay, or any type of contract or relationships with?
they have landscapers who
Wait.
do weeding and
Oh,
that type of thing. I think they got a new company this year.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Wagner. There was some seasonal help that did a lot of the landscaping.
Right.
And it's very, I couldn't even say we have there's not a landscape specialist that
No.
You
No.
have, what I was told was that Kevin Goss is the go-to man on all of this from the village. Through the Parks and Recreation Department, they use him as their guy, and he's all for this.
Right.
So.
Maybe he could, he can't be a commission member,
I
but
don't know, I'm a little overwhelmed here. Saturday, we were returning from Florida, so that's why I wasn't there. But I look at our agenda and feel like 7 people cannot do what we have expanded to since I began on this commission, and I don't know, 8 years ago, whatever it was. I'm feeling more and more frustrated with the inability to do the things that we set our goals to be. And partly because we keep expanding it, and in the interest of the residents, I want to respond to them. The lead pipe thing, I think we need to respond to that, but is that ours? Is this, if you talk to, on a totally side thing, I remember talking to Greg O and him saying, wonderful to have volunteers, put the plants in. But are they gonna maintain it? Now we have gardens that have to come back and be, which has happened,
right.
the responsibility of the village, and our finances are limited. I listen to that, I hear that, and I understand. And so I agree with you, Sandy, I'm very interested in natural plants, but we have to work within the parameters of what this village has. If it means going starting to work more with Parks and Rec on this project, okay. But I don't know how much, I know for me, I'm not gonna be doing all this, I can't.
no.
So 7 people, it feels like we need to refocus and figure out what we really think we can handle. I hear the dedication. I hear his dedication, I hear his concern. I'm not sure we're the ones to do this. And when we committed, opened up a subcommittee, we opened ourselves up to this. Because to say okay for the bikes, but to not say okay for this, leaves me in a sort of a different dilemma. I mean, where are we putting the priorities?
That's why I say it's gotta be, you've gotta have a larger commission. Because if we're gonna expand all our scope, you need more people to
Yes.
participate.
so
Commissioner
this is
Smith, go ahead.
Commissioner Smith, so this Commissioner Sandy?
Yeah.
I forgot your last name.
Hill.
Commissioner Hill. So you had mentioned earlier about the kind of education piece
Yeah.
and how that's important, because if people, you can either give people someone fish or teach them how to fish.
Right.
So with the education piece, is that something that could be done through like the local library systems?
We've done programs at the
Mhm.
library,
Yeah.
but it's just, the more you delve into this, the more I realize how much I don't know. And you really do need those experts. And you need to steer people to the websites, you need to steer people to good information on it. And then you gotta make it easy for them to get the plants that they need. I mean, it's,
So are there other organizations that you can partner with to kind of help lead that? And then sometimes there's like beautification grants that I know the village does have a grant writer, correct?
No,
No, we
Oh,
do
you
not
don't?
have a
Oh.
grant. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
the village does not have a grant writer.
You would assume, right? No.
I would assume, really? Oh, that explains a lot.
They've cut staff tremendously in 2008, 2009. So
Because there's so many grants that are
we just have
available
a forest,
for
a
that
strong forest.
type of thing. Okay, so that's not an option. So I was just saying, like, what built-in infrastructure, what do we already have
Is
that we can maximize and leverage without necessarily having to add on? Or are we really leveraging the resources that are already available? And all of you know that kind of better than I do.
So this is Commissioner Wagner. So we used to have a garden club, which was one of the
That went to
longest,
It was the longest one in
the
the
longest, oldest garden club in Illinois, and
Oh,
it
wow.
went away, which was such a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, they had very robust meetings. They had something like 40 people at a meeting,
Yeah.
but no one wanted to take over leadership,
Yeah.
so it went away. I can tell you, because I did meet with him, with Mark Paulson, he's very enthusiastic. He would really like to do something. He's looking for an avenue to, so my thought on this is whether we create a subcommittee or not, I'd like to get a clarification. And I don't think it's gonna be very expensive for an attorney to say, does a subcommittee have to be members of, can we have a subcommittee?
You could have two commissioners meet with a volunteer,
Yeah,
and you wouldn't necessarily have to be a subcommittee member. And this is not an Open Meetings Act violation because it's two commission members.
two commissioners, yeah.
Is two commissioners enough to form the?
All you're doing is discussing. So, the library has a building committee of two people, so you could go around and talk about the building and the issues that come up and that type of thing. And then that's the same with the village. The village, when they have like two-on-one or two-on-two meetings with the trustees, so they can fill them in on things. And that's not a violation of the Open Meetings Act.
This is Commissioner Smith. How about like public-private partnerships, if there's like a florist or like some type of shop that sells like plants and flowers and.
Well,
We used to.
we used to have, once again, we used to have Pioneer Garden and Feed.
in town.
Yeah, which
that's
was,
across from.
yeah, and regretfully, they closed.
But the library's been hiring Bill Cargis, who used to work at Pioneer, and he's been doing presentations at the library on gardening and that type of thing. And I believe Greg Gola will probably be asking him to do some programs for the village too, once they have their new building done.
And it seems that the person who's proposed the idea probably could have a vision of how he thinks it could happen, but we would have to
We'd have to sit and talk to
sit
him.
and talk to him. Could he attend a meeting as a?
Well, he couldn't come this evening, so maybe what we do is
Invite him to a meeting.
invite him to a meeting, and if it's okay with the commission, I will get in touch with the manager and say, we need some sort of official ruling. So that we know how to proceed with confidence.
I would talk to him first.
Okay.
Let's talk to him first, because then you have a sense of, is he willing to be a resource? Can he teach? Can he do classes?
So he does have some background, and he has a really excellent YouTube channel.
Right, so maybe he can do classes at the library, and that would give him an avenue to do some of that teaching. We can get some websites and education.
Yeah.
When everybody's
Commissioner
done.
Greco.
Yes, this is Commissioner Greco. I would like to suggest, because when we were forming this bicycle committee, the other option is for them to create themselves as a private group.
That's a good point.
Then they don't have to worry about the restrictions as much, but they can still be advisory, and they could even come to a meeting once a month or once a quarter and report
They
to
could
us. We
restart
can
the garden
partner
club.
with this private, the garden club would be a perfect avenue. So I'm not rejecting the idea of making a subcommittee, but I'm just saying that is another option, is he can form a private committee. One of us could even be on it.
A liaison.
So
And
that,
it does avoid a lot of the problems of having an official subcommittee of the village.
Commissioner Leishman.
I mean, I think the problem with that approach is it sounds like he really wants to implement some changes in code or some changes in practice at the village level. And while a nonprofit can make those sorts of recommendations, I feel like they carry more weight if they come from us. So then we have to play telephone with a nonprofit. So
If he comes to meeting, we can hear from him directly on what.
What his vision.
Exactly.
So this is Commissioner Wagner. There is a group called Wild Ones, and they're proponents for native landscaping, native plants. And it's my understanding that they have more than one group, that there's different, there's different chapters, if you will, to Wild Ones. And then, of course, there's Sustain DuPage, which Commissioner Moray knows about. So,
Open lands.
open lands, yes.
I think one of the things I'd like to somehow, and that's why I'd like to explore it, is how can we get the plants or the plugs available to members of the community? How can we make it, now that the garden club is gone and their plant sale is gone, it's just harder. Home Depot doesn't have everything. So, and then you don't have that that expertise to say this is good where. So.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, Commissioner Wagner, there's a lot of knowledge that needs, because some things you may buy at Home Depot are not necessarily good for the environment.
Yeah.
I know there's the whole cultivar.
Yeah.
There's some milkweed is not beneficial, that they may sell is not beneficial to the environment, so.
One of the things they were talking about at this workshop was what you can do, plants around your trees, so your oaks or your maples, the ones that are really good for pollinators, is you create plants underneath that canopy that allow for soft landings for the larvae and all of that. So they have suggestions for that. I mean, it's just, to me, it's fascinating. So, but the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, we could look, well.
Okay, so I guess what I'm hearing is that we're going to invite Mark Paulson, and if I can't get him in person, I'll see if we can do something via Zoom where he can make an appearance. And if it's okay with the commission, I'm gonna get an official ruling about how subcommittees should be constituted. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. Okay, well, if there's no further discussion on this item, I'm gonna move on to item 5H, which are tours. And so I'm gonna let Commissioner Amore have the floor if you wanna talk about, you wanted to propose to the commission a tour of Dart's facility.
Thank you, Chairman Wagner. So I received an email from the Dart Container Corporation after I'd made inquiries about their facility when we were considering taking, collecting styrofoam. What they do in their plant in North Aurora is they take black styrofoam that's branded 6 with the triangle, and they take dinnerware, that's the plates and cups that you can get usually when you order takeout food. And they take that down, they break it down, and they prepare it for repurposing in other styrofoam molds. So they said that they do offer plant tours, a maximum of 10 people. It would be Monday through Friday. We could get a time slot, it'd take about an hour between 8 and 9 or between 9 and 10. And like I said, the facility is right off the I-88 in North Aurora. They basically left it open for me to inquire whether there was any interest. We get a lot, but we collect styrofoam from this group. I also collect styrofoam from my wife's, one of her initiatives with the Lombard Garden Club. We take a substantial amount out there every month or so. So I want to see if there's any interest. I can backfill the attendance with the number of our commissioners who want to go with the Lombard Garden group, and set it up for a future date. Some preliminary discussions I had with some of the members before we started the bike and transit meeting was that August would be better. Which I understand. So tentatively, if anyone's interested in pursuing, taking a tour, they're free during the day. Sometime in August, I can reach back to them and tell them that we are interested. And but right now, I just want to find out if there's any interest and what dates would work. I think that the 9 to 10 time slot would work best because you're not fighting traffic trying to get there.
This is Commissioner Wagner. Just to kind of this, since we're talking about DART, polystyrene, I thought I would just interject that I had a conversation with Kay McKean today, and Kay McKean said that Hefty, if you think about Hefty Garden, Hefty has some sort of partnership with LRS where they are having people put polystyrene in bags and plastic bags. She seemed to know about this program. I contacted Jordan Graber from LRS. She was not aware of it yet. So there may be something proposed, I don't know, where we can bag polystyrene and put it out on the curb. So I just thought I would interject that. This is just something that I passed along that Kay McKean told me about, so. So if anyone's interested, so if you wanna take the lead on this, I think I've told you, there is a YouTube video about how they recycle or how they prepare polystyrene. It's basically compaction and then forming it into some sort of blocks. So I don't,
This is Commissioner Smith. Is there, we might know, is there any, I thought that was being phased out. I don't encounter a lot of polystyrene
Well,
anymore.
it's still used in, you should, like you buy a TV set.
Oh,
things like
true,
that.
for
You open it up,
insulation.
it's
Yeah,
packed
for
in-
padding, yeah.
It's packed in there to
Sure.
keep it, safe in transit, because it's coming from the other side of the world, basically. They want it to arrive intact. We just are trying to, hopefully there is a way in the future of eliminating it, because it's based, in an unsustainable,
Product.
chemicals
yeah,
that create it. I know that I just heard something about Amazon is finally getting rid of the little plastic pillows, that they've come up with a new way based on public input. I mean, it's one thing to have the village say, we're not gonna take it in recycling. But if they're still taking it in their trash and it's ending up in a landfill, how is that helping,
Yeah, and this is Commissioner Wagner, you probably know that there's been different bills introduced to kind of, to eliminate polystyrene, that specifically states the way, what's the state acquires, et cetera. So I think the trend is to phase out polystyrene, going forward, so.
Yeah, but until we do, recycling, because you just can't, you try to avoid it and you just can't. It just ends up in your house.
I can honestly say that I don't have any styrofoam and.
Wow, I still have like carryout meals that come in styrofoam.
Because even sometimes at packaging, they're using like more of like the recyclable kind of cardboard type.
Right. The
So-
compostable stuff,
Compostable,
unfortunately,
yeah.
doesn't compost very well. And there's
Well,
no
exactly.
facilities in the entire state that takes compostable dinnerware. So they won't, we can't take it, you can't put it in your yard waste because there's no waste hauler in the whole state to take it because no one's accepting it. In theory, it makes sense, but it takes too long to break down and it clogs the machinery, so they don't accept it.
I would be interested if I'm available whenever it's scheduled.
I can call them
Right.
back, I can email them back and,
Working on it.
say there's interest and see if we can put a few dates, that they might be able to accommodate us, and then we'll see. The only reason I even brought it up is because after touring the Kurzakowski, the town.
Kuwasikowski.
That was amazing, just
Yeah.
the fact that they see it now, I would think that the more people that are aware of this, the more people would participate in it.
Yeah,
Because
I
right
would,
now, we're handling it ourselves. I know, what's the name of was it Western Springs that has a collection?
Yeah.
And they don't really restrict non-residents.
yeah, they don't. So, I would say I'm a maybe, I have some flexibility till the middle of August, so
Just date dependent, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would just encourage commissioners, if you want to
Reach back and
participate in a tour.
see what dates are available at the beginning of August, and get back to you for the July meeting.
Okay, in that same vein, State Representative Diane Blair Sherlock has a group. She is organizing a tour of international paper. They have a facility in Itasca and Carroll Stream, and they're looking for input on, they have difficulty getting enough material to create cardboard, recycled cardboard, and they're looking for some input. And so there's a tour, it's tentatively set up for August 9th. If any commissioner wants to participate, let me know. I think they're going to the Carroll Stream facility.
This is Commissioner Smith, so it sounds like maybe a good problem in a way. If they're having, just for discussion purposes, they're having issues getting enough. Maybe it's because you're having less generated, and just interested. Did he state why? Do they think they're?
So State Representative Diane Blair Sherlock would be on the tour, and they're looking for some help or advice on how to, maybe with regulations, to try and to get more resources. Because I can tell you from my personal experience, I see a lot of cardboard that's just thrown away,
True.
and it's
Especially with Amazon delivery, everybody gets boxes every day, all day.
It's my understanding that it's very recyclable. It has a limited life that you can recycle it a number of times, but so they're having trouble getting resources.
2023 global cardboard shortage is significantly impacting production lead times within the packaging industry.
I'm not hearing all you're
There's a
saying.
cardboard shortage.
There is a cardboard shortage.
Yeah.
And that probably will lead to higher prices.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So it sounds, that what I'd want to know. If the reason is because people aren't recycling their cardboard, then that's fine. We need to encourage them to recycle more. But if the reason is because we're generating less packaging to recycle,
Yeah.
then we gotta figure something else out, yeah. Cause I don't want people to have to create more just so we have more to recycle, yeah. Yes, so
Right.
thank you for bringing that up, yeah.
The thing about taking tours is it always, I mean, I always come away with some better understanding. I mean, Joe mentions Kuwasakoski, that was a great tour. We brought Ken Jacobson with us, and it was an eye-opener for him as well, so.
But what do
Commissioner
we do with
Draconis.
it? But what do we do with it? I wrote the article, it never went anywhere. I mean, it's the educational part again. I have a question, was there, and this is my own brain, was there a time when we heard that the amount of recycling with the addition of the new, why am I thinking this? That the amount of recycling had dropped?
You're correct. You're correct.
Is that still going on?
Yes.
I mean,
I have not, so
Yes.
they're,
so what are we attributing? Because we have bigger bins, we just throw it all in one now? The cardboard should never be in that trash one.
should never be in trash, should be recycled.
So I don't, I'm confused on, there is a point right there. This is an immediate issue for this company. It's an environmental issue, it's gonna raise prices that the people in Villa Park need to know. Do not, big signs, do not put your cardboard in the garbage. I mean, I would, okay.
Well, to be fair, I mean, if, like I say, it's a pizza box, if it's got any kind of stain from oil or anything else, it's not acceptable, it's
Yeah, and we
recyclable.
take the top off
Right.
and that goes, and there are some places where they will take that.
Right,
We were just in Gulf Shores and they do not recycle anything.
right. But on the other hand.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Gulf Shores, Alabama, it said
Yeah,
to the
it's-
people, the huge
not
complex,
Yeah,
what do we do with this stuff? Well, we
Yeah.
put it in the trash.
but I was gonna say, on
It
the other
comes home
hand,
with us.
there's a company, and I don't recall the name at the moment, they make a pizza box that's perforated in the pie slice pattern, so you can break off the top of the box and use it to hold your slice of pizza. And, you know, there's like a plate. So that's, I mean, there's different concepts but I agree, like, for example, I've been to areas where they don't have curbside recycling at all, yet they have bins set up, like we used to have 40 years ago here in this town, where you had to take your recycling to a central location.
Yep.
And they're taking the cardboard and binding it together and taking it to somewhere else to be recycled. It's like a cottage industry, where they're picking up the cardboard because they're paying in that area to recover that cardboard.
Yeah, maybe financial incentives somehow would bolster, recovery of, so,
Or just tell them prices are gonna go up because cardboard is short.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm gonna just offer that to you, if you're interested, let me know.
August 9th?
Yeah, right now it's scheduled for August 9th,
What time?
at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And
Are you
we're,
supposed to let her know?
It would be the Carroll Stream facility.
Do we let Diane?
So I don't have details about the exact address yet, but I can certainly send you.
But how do you register?
You would just contact me or you can contact Diane Blair Sherlock's office as well. You can contact Carol Davis or is it
Alicia
Jax
Bailey.
West? I think Jax West is now the chief of staff or whatever. So I wanted to also just offer this as well. We could arrange a tour of Salt Creek Sanitary District if the commission's interested. Commissioner Morey said that he'd never toured the facility. We could possibly even have our meeting there if the commission is interested. I will tell you, it would take 15 to 20 minutes to tour, at least to tour to tour the facility. We can talk about that next month if anyone's interested.
I mean, I'm always interested in these tours, yeah, so.
Good learning
To coin a term.
Well, if, in that case, I'll reach out to Ray Hoving, who's the general manager, and say, could we possibly do a tour and have our meeting there in July, if that's, or we could do it in August.
If it's in the evening, it's not a problem at all. If it's during the day, it's a little trickier with my schedule.
So, yeah, what I envision would be for us to do kind of what we did at Sugar Creek Golf Course, do a tour and then have our meeting. You know, there is a boardroom there.
But would their staff want to stay for us to have our 3 hours of meeting?
That's what I'm gonna ask, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah, good point. Well, they could give me the keys and I
Yeah,
could
because
lock
the
it
golf
up.
course was already open. and
Right,
stuff,
exactly.
So, yeah. But anyway, yeah, see what you can do, because I don't think anybody's gonna turn that down.
And then in my conversation with Kay McKean, they're doing a tour of Groot, which is a waste hauler. This is this coming Monday at 9 a.m. and the tour is up in Elk Grove Village. So if you're interested in that, I would contact Kay.
Who is it? Who's the contact?
Kay McKean.
Okay,
I would just contact Scarce if you're in, but she
Oh,
needs
okay.
to know by tomorrow
okay.
if you're interested.
Okay, that was definitely on my major to-do.
Okay, if there's nothing further on that issue, I'm gonna move on to, I'm
The
sorry.
golf course,
Golf course.
Oh, yeah. So Kevin Gross invited us to come to tour the golf course because he said it's kind of filled in, et cetera. And Lonnie Morris from DuPage Monarch Project is touring. And that would be, I don't remember I know it's on July 31st, which is a Tuesday, I believe, at 12:30.
Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Wednesday, July 31st, 12:30.
thank you, I put it in my calendar.
Right.
I had it in my calendar.
You found it first.
You what?
I have it in my calendar. already,
Okay.
'cause it's so close.
So, I think what he'll do is just take us out in golf carts, and let us, I mean, it was interesting when it was first done, so it's probably gonna look really great now.
He did say it's changed a lot, so yeah, that's.
Exactly. Yeah, so I would contact, Kevin Gross if you're gonna be, and I don't think that if we're there, not related to commission business, if we're just doing I don't think there's any need for us to post that. Okay, I'm gonna move on to, communication and outreach, which is a kind of our new item I. And, so Commissioner Leishman, you were gonna arrange you were gonna have a meeting with, Riley Pilar? Were you able to have a meeting with her?
I emailed her. I didn't meet with her. She is excited about doing social media posts again. She asked that if it's all right, if we keep it to every other week rather than every week, which I thought would probably be fine. Her routine is that she tries to plan things a month in advance. It feels a little ambitious for us to draft the posts that early, but I thought maybe what could work for us is if we send her a list of dates that we're planning on having something posted like a month in advance, and then just like we did with previous communications director, we would send like the final draft of the post a week prior to that date. Those are my thoughts.
Okay. I did communicate with Riley as well, because she had a looming deadline for the Village Matters. So I sent her information, and Kay sent her information about Pumpkin Smash, because this next is gonna be from August to November. So, Pumpkin Smash is going to be on November 9th. It's not gonna be the Saturday after Halloween, it'll be the following
Second, yeah, the
Halloween.
second
So
Saturday.
that'll guarantee that the pumpkins are nice and
No
soft.
sheet.
I'll wear a raincoat.
Yeah, right, exactly. I did,
Why, I'm curious, why the change in date?
I don't know. That was a decision made by Scarce, and they're the coordinator.
Oh, that's right, we coordinate with their schedule,
Right,
yeah.
right. So I think I'm going to communicate with LRS early and say, hey, we need a dumpster we need a dumpster for November 9th, which is, yeah. And then, I also communicated with Riley about, the cooking oil collection, which is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And, since the district participated in a special collection on Saturday after Thanksgiving, we've had a more robust, we had more people dropping off cooking oil at the sanitary district, which gets turned into biodiesel.
Oh, interesting. This is Commissioner Smith. Is that because of the people like deep fry turkeys? Like, is it that much?
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah, that's they fry their turkey on Thanksgiving. They deep fry it, and hopefully they don't burn their deck down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was gonna do a post in Village Manners about pumpkin smash and about cooking oil recycling. I'm kind of bleeding into the next issue, which is lead service lines, but I did send her some resources so that we could have more information on the website about lead service lines. Because all we have now is the lead service line inventory. And so Cheryl Scott from Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus sent me some resources. And she also offered as an example Lombard's website, which has more resources there. And my suggestion to Riley is, I said, I know your plate is full, but if we could do something, a one-pager that would tell residents where they can go, what's available from the village. And she sent me some sample flyers, one of which I had at Summer Festival. So,
This is Commissioner Smith. So, but like flyers are fine, but a lot of times citizens would look on the website for that. And it's such an important issue too. And then I know there's probably free resources that might be available to them to help with getting grants written to obtain more funds to help with that too.
and then lastly, with respect to community outreach communication, National Night Out is coming up. And I did take the liberty of communicating with Chief Rivas and Deputy Chief McCann to say we were kind of squeezed into a table which was too small. I mean, so could we have a more, if the commission wants to participate in National Night Out, we'd like to have, we'd like to have adequate space. So I guess what I'd like to know is there a consensus, would we like to participate in National Night Out?
When is it?
It's Tuesday, August 6th, I believe.
First Tuesday in August. And
Yeah.
they're doing it at Cortese this year, I think. I think they were gonna move it there, I think,
They did it at the pavilion by the Historical Museum.
last year, yes.
Is that an evening event? Oh, yeah, that's what it says, night out.
Yeah.
It's not all night out.
So there were a lot of people there last year. So I did mention to Jordan Graber from LRS to say, hey, can you get us some coloring books or something other than fidget poppers? So what's the feeling? Would we like to participate in National Night Out?
I would be a yes.
It gets good turnout. I'm just not sure I'll be available.
Okay.
And I'm not familiar with what exactly what is.
So National Night Out is actually, it's kind of an event for neighborhood watch groups and for the local police department to develop rapport, have communication, but it's kind of evolved beyond that. I don't know how many active neighborhood watch groups we have anymore.
See,
Officer Sonia Bregman she's supposed to be in charge of that. I don't know if there was a meeting last year for neighborhood watch groups. I wasn't able to go. I don't know how many people attended. But it's another community event. The police department's there. I think the DuPage County Sheriff Department's there. A lot of people come out. There's free food, which is kind of a draw for people.
yeah, it's a national event, so there's lots of information online.
I can look.
And all of our organizations, the police, the fire, the police have their command
Police, fire,
center
yeah, they
there,
have,
and
you
the
know,
fire trucks that
they
kids
have
can
fire
climb
trucks there for
on.
kids to look at. They have, yeah.
It's a good community event.
Yeah. So if it's okay with the commission, I'll just say, we'd like to be there, but we want more space.
Yeah,
We don't wanna be crowded on a, half a table.
half a table, and we had to go through the bushes to get in and out.
Exactly.
I mean, we didn't even have a way to get out from behind the table.
You had a card table?
It was
I think you
almost.
guys shared-
It sure
you
felt
shared
that
with the
small.
What's that?
Was it the part of the library table? Was it?
I think we were adjacent to the library, I don't remember, I just remember we were cramped. But then
Yes.
there were other groups that were selling stuff.
Right,
How did they rate a full table, I don't know.
yeah.
So, okay, so the consensus is I think that we'll participate, I'll be there, and we can talk further about this, at our July meeting. Let's
Those
serve,
brochures.
what's that?
I was gonna say those brochures.
I'll be bugging somebody, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked that we put lead service lines on there. I had an additional email from Tom King. He once again argued that other towns provide more of a subsidy for help. I don't have any other recommendations to the commission at this point, but, the issue's definitely out there. Okay, if there's nothing,
Can we go back just a little bit to the communication on the social media? Could you resend, wasn't there, you had created a calendar, right, Alan?
Yeah, it's a Google calendar. Everyone is invited, except for I'll add you.
Oh, okay. I can't
This is
find
the
it.
trouble one?
No, just the ECC Google Calendar, which had like environmental related holidays. There's not a lot in July.
Okay.
There's World Population Day on the 11th, and there's World Nature Conservation Day on the 28th.
So I'm just wondering what happens on World Population Day.
It's a United Nations initiative. I think it is just about.
Overpopulation?
No, I don't think it's.
It's actually declining in some countries.
Yeah.
It's gonna depend on where you are.
Let's see, World Population
Birth
Day
rates
2023 theme. Just talking about population trends and last year's theme was about gender equality. Women make up 49.7% of the global population, yet women and girls are often ignored in discussion on demographics with their rights violated in population policies. Talking about pervasive injustice, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't.
Theme for this year or no?
No, that's
that was last year.
2023. I don't think. World Population Day, which seeks to focus attention on the urgency and importance of population issues, was established by the then Governing Council of the United Nations Development Program in 1989, an outgrowth of the interest generated by the Day of 5 Billion, which was observed in July of 1987. By resolution, blah, 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 in 1990, the United Nations General Assembly decided to continue observing World Population Day to enhance awareness of population issues, including their relations to the environment and development.
Okay.
But we
So
certainly-
if you could include or copy Commissioner Smith so she can,
Of course.
Thank you.
I'll add you to the calendar.
Well, are we going back to the Trello program that
That's what I was.
seemed to work, or to do these media posts?
It's whatever people would like to use.
No, it worked, it worked.
Okay.
So if we can start right now, there'll be two weeks in July, 2 weeks in August, is what you're saying, she wants it every other week?
Yeah, she was hoping it would be every other week. I think her July is quite busy because
Right.
she's just returning from PTO. So maybe we just start with that post at the end of July, the 28th.
That's the World Nature Conservancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we try to keep up going forward.
Shall we pick some dates?
Yep. Do you want to look at August as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Commissioner Smith, so we would just have to, I guess, provide her content on things, and then we send that.
Yeah,
To
so
you.
what we've historically done is, we assign different. So previously we were doing like one post a week,
Mm-hmm.
and at our regular meetings we would pick a topic for each week in the upcoming month.
Mm-hmm.
Assign one of the commissioners to draft that post, and then we tried to send her that draft in the form of like a Word document a week before it was going to go out. And we were tracking that progress in Trello. Yeah. So some of the posts that we did historically were like environmental holidays. Some of them were just like fun facts. Some of them were tips.
Is that on LinkedIn or Facebook or?
They were distributed on Facebook. The village does have, I think, an Instagram and a couple other social networks, but I don't know if they were also shared on those platforms or not. I don't really follow those platforms.
I think
I'm
they've
only-
seen Village posts on Instagram. Yeah.
Instagram.
And what is Twitter, which is now X, I guess?
X,
Yeah.
The one thing
Yeah.
about it was making sure that we are monitoring it.
Yes.
Oh, that it gets
Monitoring
posted.
Because people responded and we didn't know they were responding because none of us were looking at it.
Yeah, that's true. There were some people that had questions or, yeah. We did catch some of those though.
We did.
Yeah.
But I used Carl's Facebook because I don't have Facebook and responded to people,
I don't have it either.
which, you know, I'm happy to put in plastic bags because York Center is, that woman is collecting them directly from Scarce, and she's got 82 days, she's told me to, now it's 81 days, to reach her goal, and she's nowhere near.
Oh, so she's still collecting. I thought there would be a hiatus over the summer. Okay.
She is doing it herself.
Ah.
She passes by, so she's doing it herself. I just think there are some things we could begin with to get back to educating.
So what's up in August?
So August is another slow month. Only holiday that I got in here is August 21st is National Honeybee Day. I know you.
Sandy's all over that one. I think the other week, because we're doing 2 a month now, let Ellen do plastic bags.
Yeah.
Because she can they can go to Scarce and Scarce can distribute.
August 21st is Honeybee Day.
Yes. National Honeybee.
Yes. Oh my God. I've got bees in my bird bath. They're just loving it.
It's a lot of bees.
Yeah.
I have real healthy
Oh, wow.
milkweed and one monarch. One. Okay, so July,
It's World Nature Conservancy Day.
The 28th. And then if you want to make a post about plastic bags, that would probably be, sometime between the 10th and the 17th, I would say.
but she would like that.
80 days is not a lot of days.
Okay. She wants to know about it in July, that it's coming in August. Is that what you're saying?
I think that would be. I feel that should be enough heads up for her. If you would like, I can. Do you want to pick a date for your plastic bag post?
I'll do it the 10th.
The 10th of August? Okay. Okay, so 8/10 plastic bags. World Honeybee, National Honeybee. And then at the end of July, we have World Nature Conservation Day. I will send her an email with these plans, so you guys don't have to worry about that. You just have to worry about drafting the post and getting it to her a week in advance.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, anything further on
Are you
communication? Oop.
Bees. And who's somebody doing the July one or no?
I can do that one too. Or unless you want to do
Oh,
nature.
oh no, I'm sorry, just trying to understand what we were assigning.
I can send you a copy of some of the previous ones that we've done, just so you
Yeah,
can see what those
I
are
definitely
like.
like to do the one, but not July or
Yeah, that's fine.
maybe like August, see what topics we want to do.
Cool. Thank you, Al.
Thank you.
So now one will be on Trello.
I'll put in tickets on Trello.
Okay, anything further on communications? On lead service lines, I don't have much to add. I did, in my email to Riley, I said we'd love to be involved to develop, information about lead service lines, if there's any, so, I haven't heard back from her. As Commissioner Leishman said, she just came back from vacation, so I'm gonna keep this on the agenda, if that's okay with the commission. Okay, I'm gonna move on to, item 6, there's no public comment here. Commissioner comments, item number 7, Commissioner Smith, anything from you?
I have Commissioner Smith has no additional comment.
Okay, Commissioner Leishman,
I'll just repeat the comments that I gave at the BPT meeting. The Active Transportation Alliance has finally kind of released the bill that they're endorsing for addressing the RTA's pending fiscal cliff. It's House Bill 5823 or Senate Bill 3937 in the Illinois legislature. It's a pretty sweeping change to how public transit works in our area. And there's probably going to be public hearings over the summer out here in the suburbs where people can learn more about it and express their concerns. Yeah, that's all I want to talk about.
Commissioner Chaconis,
Nothing.
nothing? Commissioner Morey,
I sent all the commissioners out an email today about green toys. I'm not sure if you got it, they're really wonderful toys that are made in USA from recycled material.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
Yeah,
When did you send it?
Yeah, I didn't get it either.
I'll resend. So, if you have an opportunity, you're shopping for kids, take a look and see if you can find them. They're available. The internet's the easiest way to get them. And that's the one thing. And then, as usual, I have the van outside. If anybody brought styrofoam for me to take, I will be happy to wait and collect it at the end of the meeting.
Okay, Commissioner Hill,
Nothing tonight.
Commissioner Greco.
Nothing tonight.
The only thing I'll add is I said on a recap, by Sierra Club, they have a lobbying team. I lobbied Susie Glowiak. I wasn't able to sit on the whole thing, but one important piece of legislation was a moratorium on carbon sequestration, and Commissioner Leishman's nodding his head. They did secure a moratorium with some compromises. They wanted to avoid sequestration under the Mohammed Aquifer because it's a very important aquifer for the state of Illinois. But somehow that wasn't included. But there is a moratorium on carbon sequestration.
Is it 2 years?
I think it was longer than that, maybe. There's other notable things that happened, but I off the top of my head, I can't recall. So.
Yeah, it's one of the few environmental issues where you can get bipartisan support.
Yes.
Because if there's going to be carbon pipelines anywhere, it's going to be in red districts.
Okay, we have no liaison, no staff present. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Commissioner Leishman, second by Commissioner Morey. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
I,
Okay, we are adjourned.
yeah, yeah.
A good meeting.